Hey, Doc, dude, man, these fade grips are amazing. My FIFA gaming has went to a whole new level.
Yeah, that's great, Chocolate. Real great. So happy for you and the thousands of other gamers that are enjoying my secret was a secret. Yeah, that's so happy for you, Chocolate. So happy.
Alright, I guess Risky kinda did you wrong on a whole keep this secret deal, huh?
Did me wrong. Yeah, you could say that. Look, I mean, every time I die in Battlefield 5 beta now or PUBG, I know it's because they're using fake grips. Like, I was like king of the mountain before, and now it's just I know that's what they're using. I know that's the only way they were pulling off those shots. That's the only way.
Yeah, man, you're probably right. Well, this is sort of awkward, but I've got this friend that is wanting some fake grips, but also I forgot the code and all. Can you run the promo code by me again?
You got a lot of nerve, Chocolate. A lot of nerve. But hey, you know what? Sure, what's it matter? Everybody already knows my secret anyways, so why not one more? Yeah, it's CAG20. CAG20. You go to fadegrips.store and 20% off your entire order, and then find me in a game and kill me with your new fade grips, because apparently that's just the thing to do now.
Oh, cool. Great. I've just tweeted it out. I mean, like you said, secret's out, so you don't mind if I do, right, Doc?
I hate you so much.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 17 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host Risky the Kid, and joining me this week are my co-hosts Sleepy Chocolate
I'm back.
and DocH1X1.
Hey, what's up?
So we're recording kind of late here for good old Chocolate Bear. What time is it, Chocolate?
Kinda late. It's like midnight.
Half past midnight. We're just starting. Hour and a half podcast. Well, maybe we'll get some gaming in afterwards. We'll get you in bed by 4-ish.
No, I'm done. I'm off.
All right, fine.
You'll have a solid hour before the sun comes up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Cheers.
Well, first and foremost, let's shout out our newest Patreon patron, and that is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brad Kaboski.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Love you, Cabo.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, hey, another week in the books. I am happy to be able to stand here, not in front of you, but over the airwaves, and tell you that I'm done with wedding season. Finally.
How many did you rack up again?
That was 4. So 4 and 4.
Only 4.
4 and 4 consecutive weekends, but we are done.
Jeez.
They just progressively got worse and worse, like I assumed they would. Hey, but we're done. And now I just get to game for the rest of forever, I think.
Nice.
Now your turn. Did anyone catch the bouquet?
Let's not get too hasty here.
You're only really in trouble, Risky, when her parents start asking you like more than once a month. That's when you really kind of know that.
Yeah, that's like what the whole wedding was. It was just like it was her cousin's wedding, so it's literally like every cousin and uncle or aunt. Go, you guys next? Oh, you guys, like, you're definitely not the first person to say this tonight. Let's do this thing. All right, gaming. Let's talk about games. Chocolate, it's been 2 weeks since you've been here, so I'm assuming you've gotten lots of gaming in. Tell me about it.
Spent a week recovering, and I've only played PUBG and Longshot. It's been pretty piss poor week of gaming for me.
Long shot the game.
Okay. NFL Longshot, the story mode. Come on, people. We know what I've been playing.
Has that been upping your Madden game competitively?
Oh, definitely. I know how to like throw the ball in between people now. Somehow it doesn't kind of work when you play online. I just don't
like
get it.
in between your receivers. It's just like it's straight to the grass.
Kind of, yeah, in between. It normally just kind of piddles out my hand, hits the floor, and it's done.
Good. Did your mom teach you to throw?
Yeah, that's harsh.
Sorry.
So now, did you actually beat the campaign?
No, I'm only 34% through. Been having more luck on PUBG though. So normally I'm out by, I don't know, 60 odd. So I'm kind of upping it now to 30. So I'm
All
feeling
right.
I'm progressing well.
All right.
Did you get to hop in after 1.0 hit?
Yeah, so as soon as 1.0 hit, I was straight in, and that's where my game improved.
Awesome. How are you enjoying the Sandhawk map?
I only played it once.
No, what?
I
Why?
know. I was kind of squeezing in gaming time while the kids were napping, so
No, you're
there
good.
wasn't a lot.
The cool thing about this new update though is that you can just do a Sandhawk playlist. So you just literally play Sandhawk over and over and over. It's pretty good.
I will say that was the first time I played it was when it went 1.0, and man, does that get you to the action 1,000 times faster. Like, even if you're not intending to land in a heavy zone, like
It's straight in the thick of it.
You're gonna find somebody probably fairly quickly. Yeah.
See, I was never great at killing people, and I think I racked up on my few games I played. I think I almost racked up 10 kills, which is
pretty impressive.
That's
a lot.
Really good for a game of PUBG. Actually, that's
No,
insane.
not one game, guy. Over the course of
Oh,
my games.
over the course of a year, gotcha. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Lifetime stats.
Lifetime stats. It's
Yeah,
got those double
360
digits.
games, I got 10 kills.
See,
My
now
man.
that makes a lot more sense because he's like, yeah, I think I got 10. I was like, I think my high is 8. So if you just, hey, I just started playing PUBG again, like put up.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
Put
think
up
mine's
double
like
digits.
7 or something. Yeah.
All right, well,
No,
guess it's
I'm
time
not
for me
that
to
good.
hang up the sticks.
I give up.
The cool thing about the new map though is the amount of loot everywhere.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Holy God. Everywhere
does-
you go, like
Yeah,
if you don't have 500 rounds out of like the first little town that you left from, like you landed in the middle of a forest at this point. It's
Yeah.
just- there's loot everywhere. I love
It
it.
You
does
would
seem
pay-
like they've increased it heavily.
I think it's just for that. I think it's only for the Sandhawk map though.
Yeah, because I think like Serengale and those other ones are still the same situation in terms of like, you know, you might find something, you might not, but like on those maps where you run around, it's like, okay, I've got 2 clips of this, I've got, you know, kind of limited in terms of what you got attachments or ammo. There, you're just like, okay, I've got 500, 5.56, like I'm good. It's just I felt like I had that in no time on that map. Not even in landing in like one of the big heavy areas either.
I felt every time I raided a house, I was picking up med packs. I was
That too.
flushed
Yeah,
for
it
med
just seems
packs.
like everything's
like-
just been upped exponentially,
You
which
just
makes
land,
it
it's like ready to go.
it kind of feel like with the size of the map being so much smaller and the amount of loot now, it feels completely different than like old super slow PUBG with like you'd be so pumped if you found an M4
Oh yeah,
or something like that, but now there's one in every other house.
Yeah, and then it's just like take your pick of sites or attachments or whatever.
Yeah,
And that's the thing too. Like for a while at first, I was like, I don't know if they really need this smaller map because they're obviously doing it as a reaction to Fortnite. But now I'm just kind of like, no, they needed this map. This is pretty great, actually.
And that's like even with it being small, like there's still vehicles on the map. It's still big enough where sometimes you need to beat out the circle, and like sometimes you do have to travel a pretty decent distance to actually stay in.
Yeah.
They also added some new guns. The M24 used to be a big sniper rifle that came out of the crates.
Right.
You can just find those now, which
Yeah.
I saw it on the ground. I was like, that looks like a huge sniper rifle. And they're like, yeah, that's in game now. It's like, what?
Yeah, just there.
So what have they done to the drops then?
Just different weapons. There's just
Random. Yeah.
random, better, bigger weapons. Some of the old stuff.
I
It's still there.
want to say you could probably still only get ghillie suits from the drop too. Probably. Is
I
that
would think
right?
so. I think they also moved level 3 helmets to being crate only now,
Oh, okay.
which
okay.
was something you used to be able to find everywhere. So I think they kind of just switched up some of that stuff. See you
know
later,
what
Chocolate.
Yeah, let me just pause. Hang on 2 secs.
The other thing, they released the battle pass with this, which I didn't even bother looking into it. I just bought it. It's like $9.99.
Yeah, me too, and I'm
It'll
such an
probably
idiot.
make my game even more fun. Might as well.
That's what got me. The fact that it was $9.99, and I'm just like, you know, whatever, $9.99. If it
That
burns
much money,
me, it's not like I'm out.
That's skipping
like,
eating out for
yeah,
lunch at work
it's-
one day.
Yeah, and also, if this tides me over to having
What
something
a-
to play a lot
Your
until
baby comes out.
my caving, well, that or till me
Oh, yeah,
caving on
it's
blackout mode in Call of Duty and pre-ordering Call of Duty. So
Yeah,
if this gets me over till that, it'll be worth
The
it.
battle
so.
pass is kind of different. It's not really like it's. I mean, it's kind of like Fortnite where you have tiers that you're trying to level up, or like different levels, I guess. It only goes up to 30 though.
Yeah.
The last 3 rewards, the paid rewards, these are great. One's a tie off like tube top for a chick, so just like the kind of shirt that you would just tie at the boobs and leave that. Well,
Tank top.
a tank top if you like. Yeah, like a crop top.
Crop
Yep.
top.
It's like a crop top. Yeah.
crop top.
Yeah, a crop top that you cut in half and then tied it back together. And then a nice short skirt is level 29, and then a pair of ladies' underwear is 30. So,
Yeah. So you complete the creepy set. So
it's weird because I didn't look at the battle pass before I bought it. I was like, oh, sweet, there'll probably be some awesome skins. And then I looked at these
So
and I
this
was
is
like,
what I'm going for. All right.
I guess I'm switching my avatar to a woman, or
I was going to say, won't they let you kind of use gender neutral clothes?
oh, I mean, in their eyes,
Oh, you
those
can-
are
you can
gender
do whatever.
neutral because you
Yeah,
can totally just wear ladies' underwear as a man. So
Awesome.
you know.
I'm in.
That's the we need to get you to level 30 just so you can wear what you've always been meant to wear in PUBG.
I like how they gave everybody the Xbox parachute. I actually thought that was a pretty cool thing to do because nice not looking at just the same old bland parachute all the time. But now, and unfortunately now it's like everybody pops their parachute. It's just 1,000 Xbox
Xboxes everywhere.
symbols
Yeah.
landing everywhere. Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay.
That's
All
another
green.
cool thing is that they added the gun skins are in now. So there is a gun
did
skin
look pretty
crate
cool.
that you can buy for like 2,000 BP. So it's like double the price of everything else, of course. But
Yeah.
you can chase gun skins now, and there are some of them in the pass. The last thing about the pass that I'll mention is that there are like missions or like weekly challenges or whatever, kind of like Fortnite. If you complete weekly challenges, you get articles of clothing or like rewards that way
Yeah.
as well. So it's not just the level 30. Like every level you get something. There's also some stuff for your weeklies. You're not just getting XP or currency. You do get some of that cosmetic stuff, which is I think that's fine. It's good.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of skimming through, and it looked like there was quite a few of those like missions too to like go through and do. Like it seemed like there was a healthy selection of stuff you could complete.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, PUBG is good, and we should play it more. I feel like I played with a bunch of people. That have changed gamer tags names, like Haikaishin.
Somewhat, and yeah, Mitchell. Damn you! You made the hardest to pronounce name ever.
I think it's like
That's a
vacation,
ridiculous
except for
name.
it starts with an H. Like Haikaishin, Hakaisha.
Okay, oh.
And then so he was Mitchell, and then Somewhat Anonymous is now switched to Maldo Rob, and it's
Yeah,
just
Maldo Rob. Yeah.
So I think by the end of the night, I was playing with Moose, and I was like, well, we'll just call Mitchell Charlie. We'll call Somewhat, I think it was Jeff is what we called him, and we left it at that. It seemed much easier to pronounce than these new gamer tags, but keep your
Seems
gamer tags. Be
fitting.
proud of them. Yeah, I'm sure you came up with them for a good reason at some point. Maybe. Maybe not. Chocolate Bear.
See, that was our limited trash talking our patrons this week. It'll get better next week. Trust me.
Yep, because
We scaled it back
Kaboski's
for 1
on the
week.
block.
Oh boy.
Oh, that head's gonna roll next
Have
week.
you seen his mom? All right, so
Well,
Chocolate, what else have you been playing? Is that it for the most part?
Literally that and the Hangover recovery game.
Oh,
which
how's
is,
that going for you?
Yeah, it was going quite well. That's why I had to duck out the last podcast. It came back in a wave. 4-day hangover. Well, 2-day hangover was not wasn't appreciative. Yeah, and now I've just got a cold from my kids. Fantastic.
you know.
Yay me. I love my life.
You sound
happens.
pretty happy.
That's because it's almost 1 o'clock. So anyway, Doc, what have you been playing?
Well, I have been playing a whole lot of Battlefield 5 beta, and
You didn't say Battlefield 1. Woo!
no, and that's gonna be real hard to go back to when this beta ends.
That means you're gonna have to
'cause,
play something else.
man, oh man, this like, don't get me wrong, I was excited for this to come along because I'm a big fan of World War II, and I've been really waiting a long time for DICE to go back to World War II. They hadn't done it since Battlefield 1942, their very first game in the Battlefield series. So it's been like over 10 years or however long. But this might be the best feeling game that has a hardcore realistic feel to it in terms of like, if you've seen anything on Twitter or streams or anything about this beta, it's that time to kill is way down. Like, if you hit somebody in the chest or the head or something like that, they are going to go down quick in this game. And normally you'd be like, well, maybe that's not for me. I don't want to just get in a game where I die instantly and that's that. But this game now truly rewards you for having skillful aiming and stuff.
Feels really different as well, doesn't it?
It does.
Forgetting about the gunplay and everything else.
Well, I know it's like marketing words to say the immersion is really upped, but they really did that in a meaningful way to where, like, okay, there's before in Battlefield games you drop a med crate on the ground, everybody around it would have an imaginary bubble of healing. Now you have to go up and physically grab a med pack out of that crate to use it. Like, which some people say, well, that's just a hassle or whatever, but couple that in with how you can throw grenades back, how you can shoot grenades out of the air, how just everything is interactable with how you can build barricades and stuff. It just feels very immersive, and the sound's always been good. That's something they've always done really well, and couple that in with all the immersive things they're doing, and it's like, man, this really feels like you're in a freaking World War II battle, like, for real.
Did you play as a squad leader? So did you get the
Yes.
thing of the points and the...
I actually did not get to use it because usually when I was squad leader, I forgot that was a thing, or I just, wasn't squad leader, so I didn't get to use it, which all anybody ever did was use the V1 rocket, which you talk about something else that makes a specific sound and will absolutely strike fear in you when you hear it. It's just like, you hear like this like pitter-pattering of like a rocket kind of giving out, and you just see everybody around everywhere just looking up in the sky being like, holy crap, where's it at? But man, I have just loved what I've played of that game so far. It is, I think it's pretty divisive. It got a lot of hate early on because of all the, not my battlefield with, women fighting in the American or British Army, like, not what they called historically accurate stuff, which everybody can have opinions on that. I, for one, don't care when it comes to online multiplayer, whatever. And I will say this, too, to that whole big complaint early on. When you're in the game playing and you see silhouettes of enemies, you can generally tell if they're a medic or an assault or whatever. You can never – I honestly dare anybody to say if an enemy is like 30 meters or more away, if you can tell they're a male or female online. You can't.
I don't know. I'm holding my fire for the women then. I'm not going to shoot. I'm not that kind of guy.
Geneva Convention rules, guys. Come on. They apply. Yep. I can't say enough good things about it. I think it looks amazing. I think the sound is amazing, and I think the gameplay is the best it's ever been. And for me, in terms of we're going to use a Call of Duty phrase here because why not? Boots on the ground, like non-futuristic type game, it is by far the best feeling overall shooter I've ever played, in my opinion. Solid, super solid game, and I'm super excited to see what the Battle Royale feels like in that game too. So.
That's fair. I think I hopped into it for a couple hours maybe altogether this past week, and the time to kill has someone like me a lot more excited for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it brings a little closer to like a Call of Duty time to kill or some other games where it's just like, I don't want to say you don't need good aim. And like that's the problem here, but it's like if I can turn around and spray some bullets into you and you die like immediately, that's what I'm looking for. And did they up headshot damage? Like,
yes,
damage to the head now is like
100%. Yeah, it is.
See you later.
Well, and the reason I say it's more skillful now is because if you take the time to aim at the head, you're going to win that firefight easily. I mean, because people drop quick. You get all you could go back and play Battlefield 1 right now, and you can walk up to somebody with an M1911 pistol, which fires like a .45 caliber round, which would normally blow a hole the size of a bowling ball in your head or chest, and you'll shoot somebody in the head on Battlefield 1, and they'll act like a fly flew on their head or they got tickled on their ear or something. It's just like whatever. This game, you do it, they're dead. Like, I don't know of any gun to where if you're close enough, you get a headshot is not an instant kill. So.
Did you guys run into the problem of kind of seeing the enemies kind of blend into the background where if they were so far away.
Do you think that
if you just scanned quick, you couldn't see them.
I think that has more to do with 3D spotting being gone, because they actually upped the recognition and how the enemies contrast against the background in this beta. I think it's actually in a good place because, again, the reason why this game also feels immersive is they've done away with a lot of the immersive breaking aspects of like all these 3D Doritos everywhere on the screen, like, oh, there's an enemy there, because of huge ass yellow orange triangle above their head, Like none of that exists now. Like when you spot somebody, and even if it recognizes that you spotted them, it'll stay on them until you lose sight of them, then it's gone.
And that's another thing I would say is just that, like, Chocolate, the color palette is just kind of like you got dudes in tan jumpsuits running around tan brick buildings. So it's just
100%. Yeah.
Sometimes depending on what team you're on, they're gonna blend, I guess. I know what you're talking about though, and the spotting, I think, not being there is definitely going to take some getting used to for a lot of people, especially people who were so dependent on that, just being able to spam that. It was RB, right?
Yeah.
Just being able to spam that towards an area, and then, nope, there's the nacho. Shoot it. Shoot the Dorito.
And you are right, too, because it's enough of a concern for DICE as well that they've addressed it, like in several, like they did a dev update on YouTube, and they talked about how some people were saying, like, hey, we need to up the ability to recognize an enemy from a distance, especially. And I don't know how exactly they're going to do that, other than like they talked about how like they can do what's called like a contrast halo or something around the person, to where for whatever reason they just stand out against the background better, and maybe that's how they'll correct it. But I'm sure they have ways of addressing that problem. But
and it's like with delaying the game a little further, it's like they have time to work on these things, and now that they've had their open beta, that's so much more feedback that they just got this past weekend.
Yeah.
So
it's so brutal too, because like in this game now, when you go down, you slowly bleed out. That's another thing they did to kind of slow the game down, add the attrition factor of less ammo, stuff like that. But what's so crazy is that they're eventually going to add the ability to drag teammates behind cover. And like so many times this past week playing, there would be moments where a guy would cross a corner and he would go down, and I'd be behind cover on the right side of the corner, and the machine gun would just be spraying bullets in the street, and he's holding out his arm looking at me, and I'm like, just wait right there. I'll get the guy. Wait right there. It'll be fine. I'll be right back. It's just like I was like, man, it is going to be so insane when I could pull that guy behind cover and revive him. Like, I think that's really going to be like a big deal in terms of like just, I don't know. It's just so weird.
Mechanic,
it's just really cool that they're finally doing something like that. It's really neat because the way it works now is when you're bleeding out, you can hold down the button to call for help, and you literally hold out your arm as if like your guts are just hanging out, and you're just like, please help me. Like, and you could point to somebody and yell at them and hold your arm out. It's kind of insane, actually.
It was funny because the first time I died, I was like, why can't I just go to the damn menu screen? I just wanted to respawn. And then it's like, hold your hand out or hold down right trigger so you die faster.
Yeah, you bleed out
like,
quicker.
Just kill me. Like, I want to pull out my pistol and be like, no, there's no point.
Well, it's so crazy, too, because you definitely get, like, a Saving Private Ryan feeling of, like, near the end of that movie when they're falling back to the bridge, a lot of the troops they had on one side kind of get left back behind because they're either injured or they just fall back, and, like, Germans are rushing past them, and they're just executing ones on the ground. But, like, you have those moments now in the game where you'll get overrun and you'll go down and die, and then there's these Germans just, like, crouched beside you or running right past you, overrunning your position. You're just like, well, this is completely screwed. Like, this is just nuts.
So if you're on the offensive and you kill a guy who's downed or in a downed state, do you get any type of assist or like points? Do you know?
Well, so now here's the thing: you can't kill somebody who is in that state where they're bleeding out. You actually can't finish somebody off. Okay. They made a point not to do that because they said they didn't want to make it that realistic in terms of like
executing people as you walk by.
Execution style, like we don't take prisoners, we don't have time, just kill them real quick, kind of thing. Yeah, they're not. Okay. They're like, we didn't want to go down that road. And I'm just like, I get that. Like, and seeing how realistic it feels at times now, I understand why. Like,
I was going to say, you can't do it when someone's taking your tags in Battlefield 1. You can't shoot them as they're doing the motion of taking the tags until they come out of that pulling
process
motion
or whatever.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing too. Like now, when you go in and out of tanks and stuff in Battlefield 5, you can be shot at any point during that process. You're not immune during that process anymore.
Because he actually slides out. Like I got into an APC, I think he straight up open the doors and like crawl in,
Yeah.
and to get out, you slowly like crawl out the back of it. Yeah.
Something else they've talked about doing, and I think they need to, is that right now, if you get in the gunner position on a tank or a half track or something, you have a lot of firepower, but you're going to get sniped within seconds just because you're just a sore thumb sticking out. They have talked about that. They don't know if they'll have it in at launch, but they're wanting to make the ability, if you're in that top turret, you can press a button to duck down to where you can't shoot, but you're giving yourself more cover to hide, like duck down under fire.
That's good. I like that.
So it seems like they're doing a lot of smart decisions. And last thing I'll say about it was, like, I thought it was going to be a gimmick, the fortification part of that game, but that adds so much freaking strategy to squad plays and stuff because, like, say on Rotterdam, there's this point by the docks, point D, and it's this bombed-out building that has all these different ways in from the rubble. Well, you can build up – so the way cover works is most positions you'll either build up a barricade you can get behind and shoot on or sandbags. That's the initial barricade, and you can build those up. Now, that will stop people from walking through them, but typically they can climb up over them. But then also what you can do, and a lot of people don't know this, is after you have sandbags built, you can build barbed wire on the front of sandbags to where then people can't climb over those positions, and you force them to go different routes. And there is more strategy in that than people would think in terms of, like, controlling the flow into a point or where you funnel people into, or maybe you lead them to an obvious point that you've put bouncing betties and stuff on, stuff like that. There's so much more involved in the moment-to-moment thinking and strategy in that game to where I rightfully or wrongfully, I feel like Battlefield used to be a game to where, like Risky was saying, like, hey, I just want to respawn and go. Just let me respawn, go. If I die, whatever, I'm going to respawn and go. You just respawn, die. You could get in those motions where now it's just like you're thinking about what your next move is. You're like, okay, I need to go because there's ammo and med stations at points. And if you don't get ammo, if you don't top off ammo, you only have 2 clips on you when you start. So you get in one firefight, you're screwed if you don't get ammo for the next firefight.
That is something I noticed because I clearly don't pay attention to any of that stuff. So then it was just like, how am I out of bullets already?
Yeah.
What?
So, like, it's the thing about let's take a point. Okay, before we go do whatever we're going to do, everybody top off on ammo because you can also carry one extra med pack with you if you're not a medic to where you're not screwed if you get injured because your health will not regenerate the whole way back if you get hurt. It'll only regenerate back to a point. So everything they've done in time to kill increases made it to where the game is much more of a, look, you can go in, have fun, but we want you to think a little bit more about what you're doing rather than just, I'm just going to run out in the street and shoot. If I die, whatever, I'll spawn in 5 seconds and do it again,
They've pushed that team squad play
100%. Yep. And I think that's what it comes down to.
Any other game. I don't think I've seen a game that's pushed this hard.
You could argue Battlefield was already the best at that, but this has elevated that to a new level to where I cannot wait to get our platoon on here because this would be the first Battlefield game where I'm like, it's actually worth us having a strategy when we go on a map now, like what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, because you can totally do that now. To where it's like, okay, we're going to take D, we're going to fortify it, we're going to stop their first initial counterattack, then we're going to move and take this spot, because the other cool thing about fortifications are you can open up different routes across levels. So on Rotterdam, you could build up a fortification on this one level that would build a little ramp up to the bridge overhead of you, which you couldn't get to unless you moved halfway down the map. Okay. There was like 3 occasions on Rotterdam where you could build these little bridges up to or down from certain points and gain access to different parts of the levels you couldn't unless you were on a completely other side of the map. So there's just... I really think they're on to something really good here. I think they need to polish a lot, but I can't say enough good things about it. I think they've done a lot with that game. And last point I'll make is that they're taking a say what you will about what you think about cosmetics and how they're doing the skill trees of guns and stuff like that, but I kind of like what they're doing with the dailies and weeklies stuff in terms of XP and missions you can do and stuff. It's definitely got a Destiny type vibe to it. On how you can do special assignments to get bonus XP, things like that, which you use to get the currency to buy cosmetics, basically. So that's the other thing I would say that's a big departure from old Battlefields is how that stuff works. But yeah, I loved it, though. It was fantastic.
I decided that my favorite thing about you and your Battlefield stories is that you always say one last thing.
And it's never the last thing.
Literally never the last thing.
My problem is that I'm like, I've gone on way too damn long. I need to wrap this up. Okay, this thing. Oh, and then this other thing because this is this other cool thing. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
No, that's.
But
It's good.
Yeah.
It is real good.
More importantly, accept my invite to the platoon.
Oh, I did. Already
yeah,
did.
except mine too. Am I in it?
No, I don't think you've applied.
All right. Well, now
Swingy and Chocolate did. Nobody else.
Somebody
yet.
send me a reminder.
Shout out to Ladonian. He got really excited because I was just like, Ladonian, if you want to do this image, you totally can, because I am getting so frustrated with it. And he's like, cool, no problem. I'm like, heads up, you can't import your own images and you have to use their builder. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, get ready. It's not fun.
Didn't he not agree to that after you told him that?
He has not gotten back to me after that
Oh,
comment,
weird.
so stay tuned.
If he's smart, he'll stay away.
Yeah.
Let Doc do the CAG Nazi Eagle
Oh
platoon.
my God, I'm not even going to talk
sign.
about the Eagles. I'm not even going to get into that. It's a bald eagle, you unpatriotic bastard.
Looks a lot like a Nazi eagle.
It did, didn't it?
I hate you guys so much.
Oh boy.
Ah.
All right, my turn. So, Destiny 2 Forsaken came out this week. I went to go play it and realized that I had like 10 Warmind story missions to do still, so I did like one and then I stopped playing it. So that went well. Good use of my money so far. We'll see what happens there.
I was about to say, I was looking at the Google Doc and I was like, oh, Risky played D2 Forsaken. That's right. Why does he have Warmind down here? Wasn't that the last DLC?
Yeah, sure was.
Correct.
Yeah, so I did a little more of that. I was playing with Moose one night, and I was like, yeah, all right, let's just truck through this Warmind stuff. And we get to a mission, and it's like, you can't enter this because your fire team isn't the correct level or whatever. I was like,
Oh,
what
no
level are
way.
you, Moose? 25. We need to be 28. All right, well, I'm done for the night.
Not waiting around for this.
Yeah, it's been fun. Go play some PUBG or something. No, the game that came out last week that's been taking up whatever gaming time I've had this week for the most part is Spider-Man. Insomniac's Spider-Man. Exclusive to the PS4, which sucks for so many people. Yes, including you. This is hands down the best Spider-Man game that we've ever had. And it's right up there with the Batman games, the Batman line. It's probably better than it, I would say.
Oh, wow.
I don't know which universe I like more, and I think that's a big part of this game as well. If you're a Spider-Man fan at all, you're gonna love this game. So it's just putting him up next to some of the Batman villains. I think some of them are super awesome. I don't really care about the heroes as much over there, like the sidekicks. But
Oh, right.
this game is a big open world game. It reminds me a lot of like a Far Cry game or an Assassin's Creed game. You do have towers where you're unlocking a fog of war. When you unlock these towers, you're getting your different little side missions you can do, your collectibles that you can do, all that kind of stuff. So there's not anything too different about that. And like the big open world, the open world is New York, obviously, and I think they do a very good job of representing it. Obviously, it's not to scale, but it feels humongous. Like if you were down on the ground as Spider-Man just walking, I feel like this would take you ages to walk from like upper Manhattan to lower Manhattan. But the great thing about being Spider-Man is you don't have to deal with walking ever because you have your webs. Your webs slinging everywhere, and I will be the first one to say the swinging in this game, it's so good.
I was about to say,
good.
the one thing I've heard, that, and it's the first question everybody asks about a Spider-Man game, it's like, did they nail the swinging? Apparently they really nailed it in this one.
They did. It's not the most realistic swinging, obviously, because there's some angles that you can take on things, or like if you're too far away from a building, you'll be able to do exactly what you want, which is gameplay wise is great. But if you're somewhere like above Central Park where there's not giant buildings, you can't do a lot of like the big swinging because there actually is nothing to hold on to. And a quick side note on this: every time that your web does go up and attaches to something, it's actually attaching to a building. And it took me going into the photo mode. So this has a photo mode, which is top notch. You can take like selfies with Spider-Man. He does stupid different signs. There's all sorts of filters. You can move the camera around freely. But one thing that I did is that I was attached to a building, and I just followed the web from his like arm up to the building. It's like he's always connected to something. If you're swinging around, there is some building somewhere that it has attached to, and it makes it feel so good.
That's actually really cool. I just assumed that, you know, they did the whole video game thing of like, well, it's not really attaching, but let's just make it go in a direction where it looks like it would be. But the fact that they took the care to always make sure that that was happening, that actually says a lot about the detail probably in that game.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're on top of the Empire State Building, or like one of the tallest buildings in the city, when you first jump off, you're not going to be able to like web swing and grab on anything. You're going to have to wait until you're back down to like city level, where there's actual buildings that you can attach to. And that's just the swing. That's just traversal, and that is one of the best parts of this game. Insomniac did that Xbox game. What was their last game? The exclusive one,
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
And the traversal there was great. So just you're getting top notch traversal. Combat.
How's the fighting combat?
Yeah, combat. Very Batman-y.
That's the idea I got when I watch streams, yeah. But with that, I would say that's not a bad thing, but that's definitely the impression I got.
Not at all. One of my biggest gripes is that there is like a parry system or like a dodge that you're supposed to do, and it has the like Spider-Man spider sense thing where it like pops up above his head, and it's like danger incoming, so you have to hit circle. And you can dodge anything, but a lot of times I find myself just focusing on like Spider-Man's head and just like, all right, I need to hit it now. And then I'm just like spamming like the normal attacks I know.
You're just waiting for that timing so you don't get hit.
So it's like time it and then hit a few times. So like that's kind of frustrating because overall, like the combat, it's super smooth. It feels good. You have lots of different, you have a big move set, and you have a lot of different gadgets that you can use in combat, whether it be little spider drones that can like taser people. You can throw those out. You have web shots where you can like stick people to the ground so they can't move. You can blind them with web shots as well. It's like you have all these different things, and then you also have a giant skill tree of you leveling up your different attacks, like hold down square to do like a big uppercut where you hit them up into the air, and like you can only disarm or attack certain enemy types that way. So there's also that. There's different enemy types. There's different like factions of enemies, and they all have like they'll be like big shielded guys. You're gonna have to parry a certain way to kill them. Right. Dudes that you have to dodge. There's so much to it, but it reminds me a lot of the Batman combat. There's a lot of parallels that can be drawn between the two games, even from like Batman's grappling and like gliding. A lot of that kind of feels similar. But if you liked those Batman games, you like Spider-Man, this game is perfect. God bless you, or whatever just happened to you.
Sorry about that. Didn't get the mute button quite in time on that one.
It's really good. The story, I'm not too far into it. This is a game that I've found myself, every little shiny thing I see, I go to get it, because one of the collectibles in the game are Peter's backpacks. So if you go to them, you're going to get these little skill points, and skill points can be used to do things like upgrade gadgets, unlock new spider suits. The spider suits, there's so much to this game, dude. I feel like I could literally talk about this for hours. Somebody stop me eventually. But so as you're leveling up, there's different spider suits too, from like the comics, from movies, all this stuff, and each individual one is going to come with a new ability for your spider suit. But then once you unlock it, that ability can be put on any suit, so the suit kind of becomes cosmetic after that, if that makes sense. Okay. So like right now I'm rocking the Infinity War like metal suit that he has. And he has like the claw, I don't want to call them claws, like the spider legs that come out of his back, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to any StarCraft fans. I was like, when I saw that on a stream, I was like, that looks like Kerrigan, Queen of Blades from StarCraft. I'm just like, maybe a nerdy reference, but that straight up reminded me of that. So. Yeah,
I mean, that is what it looks like. The story, like I said, not too far into it. It seems good. This is an older Peter Parker. I had to look it up today because somebody asked. He's 23, so this is 8 years after when he first started being Spider-Man. So it's like a veteran Spider-Man in a way. He's not in high school. You have your Aunt May, you have MJ, you have Miles Morales. There's a bunch of different side characters. I've run into characters that I didn't know anything about coming into this. Well, like, knew about them but didn't know they're going to be in the game, so there's those type of surprises. You're also not always playing as Spider-Man, which I didn't realize was a thing.
Oh. Okay.
I did not know that.
Just for, like, some brief missions. I won't say who you are or anything, but there's that.
So, just to kind of see how much parallel runs with Batman, now, the combat you were talking about, the pairing and stuff, I'm assuming that means it matters then in terms of how high your combo streak is, like Batman? Is that the case? Or?
Yep. And there's also different abilities that you can unlock where it's like when you're countering, you're going to get more
okay, gotcha.
like stamina in your takedown bar. Because it's like once you fill that up enough, you can do like a instant finisher move. So you're working towards that all the time where you can kill any guy on the field at the moment with that finisher. So that's what you're always working towards. So the bigger the combo you have, the bigger that's going to be. That's also how your health works too. If you fill that bar up all the way and then hit like down on the D-pad, you'll recharge for however far that bar has been filled up.
Is it also like Batman in the sense that, like, when you get done fighting some people, you're just like, I know I technically didn't kill those people, but there are no way that guy is ever not going to be in a wheelchair the rest of his life.
Yeah,
like,
non-lethal Spider-Man has kicked dudes off of 30-story buildings, and
I was just checking.
Like,
yeah, it's like, hey, that wasn't his fault though. It's not his fault there wasn't, that building ended there. That's not
I
Spider-Man's
heard someone
fault.
say that he like webs them to buildings, or like there's web attached to them when you kick them off. I was like, no.
Sure he does.
I'm pretty sure I've watched men like ragdoll and flail off the side of buildings, and I watched Spider-Man, and he's definitely not shooting any type of webbing to save that guy.
I clearly knocked a guy off into a lake or into a body of water on Batman. He drowned.
Yeah,
for sure,
he didn't come back up, and I watched for 7 minutes
no air
to make
bubbles.
sure that he didn't come back up.
Yeah,
And then I
so
walked over and made sure
Batman
it
and
stayed
Spider-Man
there.
are homicidal murderers.
Yeah, apparently. The game's phenomenal, though. It'll definitely come up in Game of the Year talks for me. I think
Like my first image of it though, when pulling up a stream, was how good it looked too, because like it was like a sunset over the city, and he was getting ready to jump off this tall building. I'm like, damn, that looks
the
good.
lighting effects on like the Hudson River and stuff look so good. I'm
Yeah,
also
I
playing
was
it
just like,
on
wow.
an OG PS4 on my 1080 TV downstairs, because that's where my PlayStation is.
Still looks,
and it still looks great.
really good.
So it's like
Yeah.
once I started playing, I was like, I wonder if I should get a PS4 Pro and move it upstairs to the 4K. Will it be that much better? I'm sure it would be, but can't justify that right now.
Well, if you like Spider-Man, I know a PS4 Pro that you might like that is
Bright red.
themed.
Oh, it
You
looks
would never
nice.
lose
No,
it.
definitely not. Yeah. You guys have any other questions about Spider-Man? I would answer them.
I'm not a big superhero fan, but I want to play that so bad. I will eventually play it. This is part of me. This is part of me, like, subconsciously being like, man, I really wish I was into comic books and superhero stuff, because this looks like it would be really cool to get excited for, because it looks like a freaking awesome game. And same thing with Batman. I'm not a big, Batman comic book fan, but I loved those games too. So yeah, I can't imagine I won't love this one. So.
Oh, Doc.
Right? Isn't that kind of weird,
I know,
Chocolate?
I know.
Like,
I know.
he's such a
Can I
nerd.
ask him what did he do in his youth in college? And then
like-
I thought, let's discuss
like
I
history.
read a lot of
and just-
history books.
Look, guys, I wasn't lying when I said I was pumped for Battlefield 5 to be World War II, okay? I was not making that up. Like, I was genuinely like, I've been watching, okay, just so you know, I've been watching YouTube videos the past few days, nothing but about the bombing of Rotterdam and when Germany invaded, like, the smaller countries of, like, Holland and all those things before they went into France. Like, this game has got me jazzed.
Have you
big
seen
time.
Infinity
Can't wait.
War yet, Doc?
It's all right. I'm just kidding. No, it was
This
good.
17-minute documentary on the bombing of Rotterdam.
Let me tell you, though.
I hate you
Yeah.
so much.
That's got nothing.
Yep.
Oh. That's when we lost all our listeners.
Oh, I mean,
Yep.
if we didn't lose them already, well, thanks for sticking around.
Well,
I guess.
yeah, that's why I'm here for, just to actively bleed them away slowly.
working.
Just,
It's working.
It's attrition, like Battlefield 5. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, so that's what we've been playing. Well, now that Chocolate's back, we can do some Chocolate's Call Out Challenge.
Roll that music.
It rolled.
Don't tell me what to do.
You are not my supervisor. I'm calling out the one, the only, Mitchell. That's right. I'm not going to call you hushy, hushy, wishy, washy.
Great.
Mitchell, you are being called out. You are going to choose the game. I'm going to beat you. Oh, yeah! And I was going to add, if by some fluke you win, I will then live stream me trying to pronounce your name for 3 minutes.
Or at least make an audio clip of it. We can do that.
I can get behind that. That seems like a fair. That seems like a fair trade-off.
However, you've just been called out. I'm coming back from the US with my title, and I'm coming for you in Scotland. Let the games begin. Oh, an end scene.
Whew. Man, are you okay?
So,
Just something came over me.
That was intense.
It was strange.
Well,
guys, he is he's what they call a method actor. He lives this. Okay, for any of you guys thinking this is just a ruse, this is the real deal.
I felt like I blacked out.
I think you did. Well, the only thing that we could do to remedy your blackout would be to get into the news. All right, we're in the news. Doc, what's up first?
So after we got through talking about the demo,
VIP demo?
The VIP. Sorry, yes. Excuse
Whoa.
me, guys. The EA VIP demo of Anthem that will be arriving at your leisurely pleasure next year, if you are so lucky to play it. Well, they've released some more info. This is a little bit more easy to digest than the VIP demo. So per IGN, Anthem's story DLC will be completely free. They are quoted in the article saying BioWare has not given any further details about what Anthem's post-launch content will look like, but given the announcement was specifically mentioned that there was specifically mentioned that they will not charge for story content, and it is likely there will be some sort of paid DLC on the horizon, though basically not tied directly with the story. BioWare has previously insisted that the game won't feature loot boxes and won't give players the ability to pay for power, but that doesn't rule out cosmetic enhancements or cosmetic enhancements dropping as part of a paid DLC package. I think I'm as out of it as you, Chocolate. I'm coming off a 5-day work spree, so.
I was just going to ask Doc, did you just read that whole thing off a piece of paper?
Yeah, I don't know, man. What are we talking about?
Where am I?
We're talking about loot boxes or something.
Anyways.
Or maybe not loot rock. Yep, maybe we should.
We're all
look at that.
just words, you know?
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
Look, I just want to get back to trash in the Patreons. That's what I know. It's what I do. It's just, all this stuff in between is just, okay. Anyways, guys, basically the gist of it is they're saying that Anthem will not have paid DLC as far as the story goes. There will be DLC of some sort that you can pay for, but it will not be necessary to progressing the story. That seems like a pretty good trade-off for this type of game, I think, right?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Sounds fishy to me.
Or yeah, like this is not how this is actually going to end up being at all.
Yeah, EA's going to get theirs. If there's one thing we know about EA and Activision is they're going to get theirs. So
there'll be some sort of split off from the story where you'll have to pay for that.
Well, that's what I was trying to rack my brain about. Like, how would this manifest then? Like, is there going to be some sort of maybe public area or like something like that maybe isn't tied to the story, but you can only get to if you get that DLC or something like?
Or maybe a zombie horde type mode, but then I can't see
yeah,
that.
maybe, and that's not directly a part of the campaign, I guess you could say.
Kind of like if you think about The Division, I think is a good example of that. Like what the survival mode, how that was.
Oh, right.
$9.99.
Yeah.
Or the underground mode was $9.99.
Like you didn't have to play that to technically get the gist of the Division story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like that really progressed the main storyline. Not that there was
So
that much of a story.
yeah, I could see that.
The Division 1.
Like almost like if they come out later and did their version of Destiny 2's Gambit mode or something like that, it'd be like, it's not the story, but also you have to pay for this DLC, maybe something like that.
I don't know. It's just weird that we live in a world now where developers need to be, and publishers need to be tiptoeing around every decision they make when it comes to post-game content and how they disperse it to the public and what they charge for it.
It's weird too because like some stuff is justified, but we also live in a culture to where there is outrage to anything and everything, especially in video game culture. So
not gonna make everyone happy. Never.
No,
it's impossible.
Never. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where anymore, like when it comes to like a lot of these video game articles, when they're talking about this stuff, you're just like, part of me just wishes we could go back to the days of just like let's let the game come out and judge it then, and just kind of see how it goes, instead of just like writing off a game before I've ever even played a demo of it, But whatever.
But it's too many times we've been burned with this half game that's come out with a huge.
With that said, you're not wrong. Yeah, true.
With that said, I'm $250 deep into Destiny somehow.
That you have not gotten to that content yet, might I add. Yeah.
Have not felt fulfilled over the last 4 years of my life with that game. So there's that.
Yeah, I don't know. But
we won't hate on the game. We'll wait until it comes out and then.
No, yeah. I think it has a lot of potential.
I'm I'm hesitantly optimistic about Anthem. Nothing I've seen of it has blown me away, but I feel like it could be cool. I just don't know yet. Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. Up next.
Grease-proof controller was announced in Xbox Australia. So there are only 200 editions, I believe. And this was meant to be a tie-in with PUBG. So kind of the winner chicken dinner.
So if you're eating your box of KFC, this is the controller.
Yeah, I kind of roll my eyes because I watched the YouTube video, the whole 40 seconds of it, and it's a nice looking controller, and then they've got a nice plumped chicken, and then they've got the grease fat dripping on the controller.
I would say they're just pouring grease all over it.
It's so silly, but I love it in a way.
But they've had fun with it. It is quite funny. If you remember back, was it 2 years ago where Xbox Australia came out with the onesies that obviously everybody...
The Xbox onesie?
And people couldn't tell if they were just like being for real or trolling, but it's like, no, we actually sold these.
Yeah, do you know what? And I want one. I wouldn't mind one. I'm not a onesie person.
Sure,
but
yeah.
I'll take one.
In the middle of the winter when I'm freezing and I've got my onesie on that fits my controller and my headset, and I might have a built-in shitter in it so I don't have to leave the couch.
Didn't it have a pocket that had a controller symbol on it, like insinuating that was your controller pocket? Like,
yeah,
like I love it. I love it.
Would you be in the go in the hot tub as well, Risky?
Yeah, maybe this is waterproof. I can just bring my TV out and then just put this controller, just submerge it.
If it's not hot tub ready, then what are we doing here, boys? Come on. Like, what are we even doing?
This is what the people want.
It is what the people want. 100%.
But I was going to say...
It's funny...
You'll go on.
I was going to say, it's going to be funny how much these controllers are actually going on, like eBay, in like a month from now.
Yeah.
Like, there's only 200 of them.
Yeah,
you know they're going to be
100%.
more than an Xbox One X.
Yeah. Anybody that's super into PUBG, that's doing some sort of Xbox PUBG collection, this is a must-have for sure. Like,
do you think, would you test it if you had a controller? Would you test it?
To be fair, it just looked like a super glossy version of a regular controller, if I'm just being real about it. Like, it looked like super slick, glossy type feel to it. I obviously I haven't felt one, but that's what it looked like.
I'm looking at the Xbox onesies online right now. They're beautiful.
How much are they going for?
I tried looking that up.
And are they quote unquote used? I need to know that as well.
It didn't pop up for me. I don't see anything, unfortunately. But
with the new store,
I would assume they probably went for a good chunk of change.
I'm sure they'll bring them back out with the new store coming out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have that official merchandise store. I bet you they will.
It'd be crazy if they didn't.
They can have my money.
Whoa! Wait, do you guys hear that? What is that?
Oh, is that a V1 rocket? Oh shit!
Oh no!
Warning: incoming missile.
So I I don't know why I was just quiet. I was like, oh yeah, okay, let's wait for the music. Yeah, okay, we're done. So, name the
That's
phrase.
just your schizophrenia, Chocolate. It's fine.
Oh, do you know what? Damn.
Ready
you lot.
and go.
Start scene. Right. So, name the phrase. Risky tried to explain this last episode and did a poor job. So I shall.
Oh yeah, very poorly. I'm glad
shade
you're
thrown.
back.
I shall take the mantelpiece again. So, name the phrase. It's a 4-week competition. Each week we will drop one word, and you have to put them all together and then email us at cagpodcast@gmail.com. We'll stick all the names in a random generator, and you could win 1 whole month of Game Pass.
See, the only difference between what I did and you did is I told them they were going on a 4-week journey because I couldn't think of what to say. And you told them it was a 4-week contest, which makes a lot more sense. We will not be journeying anywhere.
You see, but
Sorry.
I like the journey. Together, we will go on this journey.
I want to go on an Odyssey. Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe I should have just done it again then. Throwing shade at me and then you really like my ideas.
Well, now I'm bummed
I
out because
did.
I feel like I'm not going on an Odyssey, so now I'm just bummed out. So
Next week we'll use the word Odyssey.
Okay, thank
Make
you.
everyone feel better about it.
yeah, I want to go on an Odyssey.
see, that's where I should just drop in the word now, and everyone will be like, well, what is it? Is it Odyssey? Is it something else? But no. The word for this week is senses. So go back to last week's episode, write that down, write this week's episode's word down, and then you've only got 2 more to roll. Back to you, Risky, because I'm babbling.
All right. So next up in the news, Xbox One, Alexa, and Cortana support. This is essentially taking the mantle for the Xbox Connect, in my opinion, as far as the voice commands go. So now you can use Alexa and Cortana to do your voice commands for your Xbox. So Xbox on, Xbox navigate to this, all the stuff that you could do in your Connect, you can now do it if you have like an Echo Dot or if you have like a big Alexa unit. That kind of stuff. It's available for Xbox Insiders right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right?
Yeah, I think it's Alpha, Skip Ahead, and Alpha, which I've got my S on the Skip Ahead thing, and which I use a Alexa Dot, Echo Dot at home, and so I tried it out with that, and it works surprisingly really well. And what's really great about it too is that the thing I've always liked about the Alexa Dot is that one, not only is it, in my opinion, the best like vocal recognition I've ever utilized before in terms of like understanding what I meant or what I want to look up or whatever, but it does what it does for other services for the Xbox in the sense that like you'll say like, hey, do this or some abstract command, and even if it doesn't have that command ability, it'll be like, oh, well, did you actually mean this or this? And 99% of the time, it's pretty much been like, yeah, that's what I meant, do that. And it does. It works. So you can like pull up a party, pull up a game, search something like that. What I found out was really helpful was to search stuff in the store really quickly. It can do all that really well and super easy to set up. And I'm glad they did this because I never really utilized Cortana before. And when I did, I don't feel like I had near the success rate with it that I do with the Alexa. So it's working pretty good.
And then the other good part about this is that it's way more cost efficient or cost effective than the Connect. I think you can get an Echo Dot when they're not on sale for like $50.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
half the price of a standalone Connect unit, or if not more nowadays. But on like Amazon Prime Day, I feel like they were like $25 or $30
Yeah,
or something.
and there's hardly a day that I don't go on Amazon where I see some sort of promotion like buy one for this price, get another one half off, or just some kind of crazy promotion. So
That's like the Echo Dot has so much utility besides just the Xbox too.
Yeah.
Like it's well worth it to have it
is.
near your gaming setup because even if you have questions about other stuff, it's still there for you. So
yeah,
great addition for Xbox.
I feel like I'm missing out not having a Alexa.
Christmas is coming up.
you need to get more Alexa.
That's a
in
weird
the-
thing to say, but Christmas really isn't like that far away anymore.
Well, true.
I'll send you one. Shipping
Oh,
probably
thank
won't be great, but
Shipping
Re-
probably costs
really get
more
your,
than the actual dot.
yeah,
Really
probably.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Really get your wife on your side, Chocolate. Tell you're wanting to bring Alexa into the household, and that she's just going to have to be okay with it. And this,
And just don't explain
no
that
more
any
details.
further than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, won't tell her who Alexa is. No, I've
No.
already worked on her. I'm getting a monitor, so
Woo!
Nice.
I'm going for the one you guys got, the LG.
Oh, that a boy.
It's been worth it. It's been good. I can highly recommend it.
Pretty.
I
Yep.
can't wait.
Good deal. All right, next up in the news, Doc.
I mean, yes. Henry, let me get this one right this time. Henry Cavill to lead the cast of Netflix The Witcher's saga. So, we heard a little ways back how Netflix had signed the rights to, essentially make a miniseries of The Witcher, which sounds freaking awesome. I don't know. I guess I never really thought at the time who I would have pictured as being cast for
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, he's probably got I feel like he's got like that type of face that would maybe work, with that kind of. I don't even know what that means, but
Well, the weathered face.
yeah,
it
kind of
is like a
like
weathered,
that face
gruff
that like,
face.
dude, that guy's seen some shit in his life, Like, I mean, he's seen some stuff, and like, yeah, I feel like that might have been a guy, but like they got the guy that played Superman, which is his role in Superman. He is super clean cut and very,
That's what. Yeah.
a very certain look, but with when it comes to Hollywood, like with the Joker in Batman, Dark Knight, what's his name that played him?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Anybody can become anything with enough work and effort. So I'm sure they have a vision of what Geralt will look like with that guy. So
And then it's like because Superman's the easiest film for us to like equate him with.
Mhm.
But did you see like The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
no,
Yes.
It was like a spy film, and he was a spy. Like he was really good in that, and it's not just like his standard Superman performance. It feels completely different.
But he's very wooden in Superman, isn't he? He's very hollow.
well,
Right.
I think that's part of the role too. I mean, though, as far as like, I don't know, maybe, or I don't know if that was, I don't know. Part of me feels like that is just like him being Superman in that part, though. But
And then he was just in the that new Mission Impossible movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
And-
And he's Super Mario as well, isn't he?
what?
What? I'm looking now.
Chocolate,
because-
you could have said a lot of stuff that I would attribute to sleep deprivation. You could have asked me a million tries to guess what Chocolate would have went off the rails and said. That would have never been one of them just
so,
now.
Right, okay. So didn't they CGI out his tash in?
That was for Justice League.
Yeah. So they CGI'd the tash, and the tash isn't in Mission Impossible, is it?
Wait, what?
No, it is.
Okay. I am completely.
No, but I did Google this, and it says Boss Logic turns Henry Cavill into Mario from Super Mario Brothers, an imagined Smash Bros. Film
What?
that
Okay.
someone made.
Maybe that.
Of course, somebody made an Imagined Smash Brothers film. Of course, they freaking did. Are you kidding me?
But actually, looking at him photoshopped, as Mario is actually really good.
I don't know if I ever want to see that.
I suggest Googling it. It's good.
I might have to
See, the first thing I ever saw or recognized him in was I watched the old, not old show, but a show that was on for a while called The Tudors about
Oh, yep.
King
yep.
Henry. He was his friend in that movie. The guy that played King Henry, he was like his like court friend or something like that. I don't know, but that was the first thing I ever remember him in. But
So yeah, he's been in some stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any good actor can probably do this, right? With enough makeup, you can make anyone look like anyone.
I feel like I'm totally okay with like give him like long white hair and like a very like scarred face and stuff like that, yellow eyes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he'll look like Geralt. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
I don't want to look at Geralt and think Superman. That'll be so annoying if that's how
Or
it
if
ends up
Geralt walks
working
in the
out.
room with glasses and nobody recognizes him and he takes off his glasses, or like, it's Geralt.
Oh my god! I will smash my TV.
I am done with the show. This is hot garbage.
All right, thanks Henry Cavill for nothing. We'll see. Could be good. All right, what's up next?
I was going to say, can I add the Rocksteady?
Oh yeah,
We're doing it live.
We are.
Doing it live.
doing it
Yeah,
live.
Chocolate. Why don't you tell us about what Rocksteady is potentially working on?
So, Rocksteady, who are behind Batman Arkham series, are hiring for a highly anticipated AAA title.
Speaking of Superman,
Got
Yeah, well,
a transition
yeah.
on that. So it's believed to be a Superman game of some description. There's been apparently a job list of about 20 job vacancies. Well, yeah, they put out for etc. for people. So potentially we might get a good Superman game. Potentially.
Well, I think that the follow-up question is, have we ever had a good Superman game? And I don't know that we have we?
No.
Have we ever had a Superman?
Nah, there was one on the 64. I remember specifically that was not good.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
Imagine an open-world game, but with 64 fog graphics built into the open world, and you got a winner right there. Let me tell you.
All right,
And I
there
think he
was
had overpowered as well, wasn't he? Or
Oh yeah.
it was it.
there was Superman: The Man of Steel for Xbox, original Xbox. Yeah, so I guess there actually there's a bunch of Superman games here, but apparently none of them have been very good. So,
Which you could argue that Batman didn't really make a good one until they did
dude,
Batman.
I don't know. Those
So-
old side-scrolling Batman games were kind of fun. At least, I remember them when I was like 12. They were pretty fun.
Yeah.
They might not be fun anymore.
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't. Superman's not an exciting superhero to
Well,
me.
that's the problem, right? Because his only weakness is kryptonite, so everything around that has to be built around kryptonite. Otherwise,
Yeah.
he can do anything, right?
Yeah, that's true. Meh,
Stick him on
whatever.
Krypton. Stick him on Krypton.
Stick 'em on Krypton. Okay, well, last news story. Well, not really news, but I'm going to go over your new games coming out this week. So, starting on 9/11, which is today.
Tomorrow. Well,
Today. Especially for you, Chocolate. It actually is today.
Yeah.
Anyways, right now, you can go download NBA 2K19.
That's if you picked up.
NBA Live came out last week,
I
though.
was going to say,
Think so, right?
didn't you get this 3 days early if you picked up the Super Duper edition?
Oh, probably. I think everybody does that
Oh,
nowadays.
if I went through each one of these games and tried to figure out exactly the caveats for when you were getting it,
Just wait till we talk about Battlefield 5 in November and the tiers of days of which you'll be able to play that game.
well, I got an Xbox message or something in my email that said that your pre-order has been moved, and it said November 15th, I think, for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
You
going
don't
to
need to get into it,
I'm not going to
Doc.
get
Nope.
into it now, but I'll explain later. Yeah.
So coming out on Thursday, which is usually a Switch day, we have the ports of Bastion and Wasteland 2, both coming over to Switch. Bastion's
fantastic.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And-
I might get that for Switch.
Wasteland 2, if you're into like that's turn-based.
Yeah, I actually played that and beat that on Xbox. It's if it's the one I'm thinking about, it's the one that kind of shows like a guy in a cowboy hat grifter on the front, right?
Yep, that's definitely what the cover
it's
photo looks like.
think of old school Fallout 1 and 2 top-down games like that, almost XCOM-y style, but not
Isn't
like
that actually
turn-based.
who made
It
Wasteland
is,
2?
yes. So
Okay,
not to get
okay,
too
yeah.
into it, like basically you had those developers split from who made the original first two Fallouts, and they went on to make Wasteland and Wasteland 2, which are quote-unquote spiritual successors to the OG Fallouts, yep.
Okay.
But it's really
So yeah,
good.
those are coming out on Thursday, and then then Friday you have Super Lucky's Tale and Recore. Those are both coming over to PC, so you can get them in Steam now. Also on that same day, the Blackout beta starts for everybody. It's been running for PS4 since today.
Looks pretty fun, I gotta
or
say.
Yesterday. Does look good. On that same day, you have NHL 19. That's EA's hockey game.
Hell yes.
And
Sorry.
then that wasn't sincere at all. And then the one that I'm probably most excited for next week is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So the end of the Lara Croft trilogy.
Shout out to Blake, my game share buddy. I'm getting that for free. Way to go.
That's awesome. That's what. Yeah, I'm getting it because of my game share buddy as well. Because otherwise, I'd probably wait a little bit since I just got
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I'll have that too. So I'll probably have more to say about that next week. I
So
definitely
actually,
will. I'll play
real-
some of it at least.
Real quick, I didn't know that was supposed to be the end of the trilogy. So this is actually supposed to be the end of that story arc for her?
Yeah, unless I got that wrong, which
Is that
sometimes.
because she's killed everybody in the world and there's nobody left to kill? Or?
Yeah, and they're talking about like this is Lara at the top of her game. It's like she's gonna create mass genocide. That's all that
Yeah,
means.
I mean, like,
She
I
will
I
kill
wiped out a
whole
small
countries.
country in that first game, so Just
So
saying.
yeah, it's only gonna get worse apparently.
We just got to go to space. That's the
Or-
next frontier and
or
kill
better.
aliens.
Oh god,
That'll be the,
the moon of the Tomb Raider.
the next trilogy.
Yeah, nice chocolate. You're gonna get hired by Square Enix next. Moon
It's
of the Tomb
everything
Raider.
you ever wanted.
Yeah, give me a job and keep me up till 1 a.m. I'll give you ideas.
I'll give you something, all right.
90% garbage, 10% decent ideas.
As I say, throw everything at the
A
wall.
little generous
see what
there, risky,
sticks.
but
That's probably true. Speaking of throwing stuff at the wall, the other day I was making spaghetti, and I actually threw it at the wall because my girlfriend had never heard that or heard of that. Like, to see if your spaghetti's done, if you throw it at the wall, it sticks to the wall, it's good. She's like, oh, you've never seen this? And I just took it out of the pot and I threw it at the wall.
Risky's like, oh yeah, well, that happened.
And look, it's ready now. Can you pick up that spaghetti that's
And yeah, I was
stuck
about to say, and
our
then
wall?
she looks at you and is like, clean up your shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
She's such a lucky girl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, from
You
the
have
Discord
no
chat
idea.
today, let me tell you.
All right. Well, hey, that's been the news. Chocolate, you got a quick announcement about something that's coming up for us?
Oh, which one? No, this is a shout out to the Real Gamer Score podcast. We're looking to work together with them in a kind of a podcast v podcast triathlon. Well, it's not really a triathlon, is it? But a journey.
Yeah, not really a triathlon at all.
Now you're just being a jerk. A journey.
A journey through space and time. So, we're going to have some sort of host v host, hosts v hosts as well, community versus community, and we're going to throw a load of hodgepodge stuff together. We're just working out the details, the time zones, because they're out in Australia. I'm a weakling and can't normally stay up past 10 o'clock. And
You're
obviously
killing
you
it
two-
tonight, buddy.
Oh, rock and
You're
roll.
rocking it late.
Yeah, can't wait till my kids wake up at 6.
Woo!
So keep stay tuned, keep your ears open, and also go give them a shout. Go listen to their podcast. It's good. They're very achievement hunter heavy, so if you like your achievements, they're definitely worth a listen.
It is. I just recently listened to it, their last episode, and it was really good, actually. And it's I'm definitely was looking for something anyways to get into that's more achievement oriented, because I've kind of started to get into that now, and that can get really addictive, FYI. So
Yeah, and they do give little tidbits and kind of shout outs to games that you can beat in under 2 hours. So for normal people like myself, it's a 10-hour game. But for people,
oh,
who are
that's
good
why
at
you were
games,
playing. I wonder why you were online the other night playing Barbie's Island Adventure so late, but now I get it.
It all
trying to
makes
get that
sense
game
now.
score.
That was the only reason, yeah.
Chasing those numbers. Yeah, and that's it.
All right, let's plug up this show then, huh?
Plug it.
If you'd like to support the show with your hard-earned money, you can head on over to patreon.com/CAG podcast. If you'd like to stay up with the day-to-day of Cross Atlantic Gaming, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're at CAG podcast there. Also, this is a good time to announce that we have our own Discord now. Woo!
Woo!
Oh, that was
Sorry about that echo.
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cross Atlantic Gaming, now a standalone entity, and we have our own Discord. So if you'd like to join us on Discord, links for that are definitely in the show notes. The three of us are there active all day. Literally all
Every
day.
day.
I haven't been getting much work done lately. What's new? Am I right?
As long as the IT guy doesn't grass you up, you're fine.
Oh, yeah. what
Oh,
a
I think
jerk.
the IT guy's already on to him.
Yeah, didn't I tell you about that one day that he came in and closed my Discord out remotely? What a jerk. Who does that? All right, I touched on this last week, but our monthly mailbag, we're going to be doing that in 2 episodes now. It's not next episode. It'll be, right, the episode after that or the episode after
Right.
that?
So
Two
So
episodes?
the episode we announced the winner of Name the Phrase.
It's the
Makes
episode
it easier.
after next, I'm pretty sure, yes.
Okay, so we got that coming in 2 weeks. If you do have questions for that segment in that episode, you can send them to cagpodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Twitter, Instagram, do it in Discord. There's so many ways to get a hold of us and ask us whatever questions you have, so feel free to do so. If none of you write in questions, this is going to be a real disappointing segment. So,
Or a really quick one too.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be gaming related.
Yeah, I mentioned that last week. Anything, almost anything.
Well, yeah,
Almost
within reason.
Anything, yes. We've also updated our merch store. Link for that are in the link for that are in the description.
Sounds great.
So you can get sweet mugs and sweet t-shirts.
Hey, is the hats updated yet?
I'm just checking the email because I did that just before I jumped on.
Oh, because I'm buying that the bluish purple brimmed hat as soon as that is.
They still haven't emailed me. I hate them.
Woosah chocolate.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, I think it's about time for you to be able to get some sleep.
Thank God. Oh,
So-
what about codes? Drop some codes. Merch store. If you want 10% off. Is it CAG 10?
Yes.
So that'll be 10% off.
Yes.
So the merch store, once again, that's CAG 10 for 10% off.
I'm such an idiot. I probably should use that if I'm going to buy a hat. I was just going to go in there full price. Sure. Oh, we have a code. Dang.
Yeah,
do
I
indeed.
made sure to add that to the show notes, so I will definitely remind everyone next week as well on that.
And then I think we've got another code for 20% off somewhere, haven't we?
That was the
Fade grips.
which you'll hear at the beginning of this podcast, or
Or
you've
you
already
already
heard.
heard.
What am I saying?
Yikes.
Go back and hear it again.
This is just
Disembodied voice magic.
it's dumpster fire of a podcast. Well,
You need
With
to edit that
that-
part out.
oh no, yeah, okay, sure.
What, the whole podcast?
Yeah, we'll just delete the last hour and 10 minutes of this show. Anyways, thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next week for an all-new episode. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hopefully I'll be asleep. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host, Risky the Kid, with the big PP, and joining me this...
Nailed it. Chocolate had one
Was
last.
it worth it?
Chocolate had one last good throw in him.